The Wisconsin Republican Party continues to show why they're one of the best in the country. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video. Today, it is time that we talk about the great state of Wisconsin's GOP and how they continue to take a stand and show the rest of the country, at least for the Republican Party, you can actually take a stand and use power effectively when you have it. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you can join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content that we all know and love. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody, and let me be clear. I have some issues here and there about the Wisconsin GOP. With that being said, especially of the swing states, they're one of the only Republican parties that understand how to use power. I mean, look at this. GOP lawmakers in Wisconsin scheme to remove elections chief. That's right. These guys have balls of steel. Wisconsin Republicans are moving to fire the state's quote-unquote nonpartisan elections director ahead of the upcoming presidential primary in the state, casting a shadow of uncertainty over the 2024 elections. You heard that right. They don't give a flying F about anything. They don't care what the media is going to say. Oh, imagine if this was the other way around. Okay, let's make it the other way around. So, it sounds like they're going to fire the Election Commission's director, Megan Wolf, who has been a complete and total disaster as part of the Wisconsin Election Commission, which this nonpartisan crap is baloney. It is a nonpartisan. These are Democrat hacks, mostly, that illegally usurped law in the 2020 election. The state Senate is set to hold a hearing on Tuesday on Megan Wolf, the administrator of the Wisconsin Elections Commission, the first step in what is likely an attempt to remove her from her position. Democrats say Republicans want to drive Wolf out of office as retribution for the decisions the commission made in 2020. Good! Guys, the Wisconsin Election Commission, it's a scam. I've always hated this stupid six-man commission that can decide all the election laws and regulations. That should always be by the state legislator, not some crappy, quote-unquote, nonpartisan commission. The brawl over Wolf illustrates how nearly 3 years after then-President Trump's false claims of a you-know-what election in 2020, election misinformation still has a grip on arguably the most important swing state on the map, with Trump potentially on the ticket. Oh my gosh. I just love this spin. They're losing their shit over this. Politico, the Democrats. But guess what? The Democrats would do the same thing. I'm glad the Republican Party, they looked at 2020 and they say, we cannot allow this to happen again. Say what you will. I have my own opinions on it, which everybody I think knows. But it was a total disaster of an election in 2020. And these bozos on this nonpartisan commission, they ran the elections into the ground. And you start looking at some of the decisions they made, you start to realize, oh boy, this is a complete mess. The margin between Biden and Trump in Wisconsin in 2020 was extremely narrow, and Republicans have fixated on a handful of decisions the quote-unquote bipartisan six-member WEC Board of Commissioners approved, including how absentee voting was handled in nursing homes during the pandemic. Which I love how they just glance over this. Look up what the sheriff of Racine County found. Look it up. The way they handled these absentee ballots were illegal. It's also just immoral. These people can't see, they can't read, they can't write. But they voted for the first time in 15 years. In these nursing homes. And then they stupidly redefine what indefinitely confined mean. If you don't know what that is, in Wisconsin, indefinitely confined is people that vote absentee, but they don't show their voter ID because they can't get out of the house. Like, imagine somebody that's 90 years old, they can't leave their house because of health issues. That's who that's meant for. Well, these assholes redefined what that meant, and you can use COVID as an excuse for being indefinitely confined. No. COVID doesn't force you to stay inside. Yes, it's a deadly disease for some people, but that doesn't mean they can't just absentee normally. This indefinitely confined stuff is a big problem, and the nursing home stuff, and it's just a complete joke. But I am glad that the GOP in Wisconsin is doing something. Just freaking something. You got these other statewide parties like the GOP in Texas. Why the hell are Democrats in key committee positions when you have a clear majority in both chambers? I mean, it's so bad that they put Democrats in some of the most powerful positions in the entire state assembly in Texas, or state house. Why is it just the Wisconsin GOP and like North Carolina? They're the only two GOPs of the swing states. I'm talking about the real swing states, not freaking Florida. I'm talking about the real swing states that have used power effectively when they have total control. I mean, even go back to the Scott Walker days. The Republicans got a lot done. They absolutely did from 2010 to 2018. And at the last second, they essentially made Evers useless as governor. They signed a bunch of laws that reduced the amount of powers that Evers had at the last second in Walker's term. These guys don't play around. I mean, it's unheard of for Wisconsin, especially the GOP, to actually start removing people from their position. Democrats try to do it all the time. GOP doesn't. But on top of this, you had the Supreme Court. They're threatening impeachment already. Before they've even heard a case, they're threatening to impeach several of the liberal justices. This is what I call effectiveness. It's the first time that the GOP finally does something in one of the swing states. I mean, at this point in time, they can remove any of the justices they want. They got the votes. And they're actually, at least temporarily, they're going to look into trying to impeach them and hopefully remove them from office. I am so glad that there are some GOP state parties that are doing something about some of these lunatic, unelected bureaucrats that are essentially deciding the elections. I'm glad somebody is looking into it. It's like, no. What you did in 2020 was wrong, illegal, all of it. It doesn't mean Trump won or whatever. I'm just saying that, hey, what they did was a usurped law illegally in the state of Wisconsin. And this article tries to make it sound like the WEC is the victim. No, they caused a lot of the chaos in 2020. And they're making a big deal about this because they are worried that there is a state party that actually does something for the Republican side. Oh, you won the Supreme Court election? All right. Abstain from the redistricting lawsuit, or else we're going to impeach you. and that you can't rule on anything. No other party does this. Not even North Carolina, which they're a good party in their own right. Wisconsin, they just impeach their opponents. Hey, it's one way to get the job done. And I'm so glad that there are Republicans that understand that. I'm not a big fan of it at times. Like, it's not a good precedent, but Democrats are already doing it. And it's time for the GOP to say, unless you stop, we're going to do the same thing, but 10 times worse. If you do one thing wrong, you're gone. I don't know what else to say other than thank God for Robin Vos, who I'm not the biggest fan of. Never been. But he's one of the only state speakers in the country that's a Republican that understands I have total control of the state. I can do whatever the hell I want. I'm essentially the governor. I get to decide what laws pass. So, we're going to get everything we can and force Evers to veto popular tax cuts. That's how it should be done in every state. The fact that swing states are doing this better than some deep red states, Arkansas at times, some of those southern states, Utah, it's just mind-boggling. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.